station. Heed the call, the escalation. This is your radio salvation. Go, 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 go.
Viva Las Vegas, baby! It's another edition of Time to Vegas, coming to you live from the Go Live Vegas studios in the heart of the entertainment city, capital Las Vegas, Nevada. I am Aaron Phillips, Aaron P for short. Thank you for joining us, and joining me here at the dais today is not Gypsy G. She is out about, she's doing her thing, chilling out a little bit, but she is watching us in the chat room. Joining me at the dais today is Paco. How are you, sir?
I'm doing absolutely amazing. It's a crazy day and a crazy week and
well,
a crazy year.
Yeah, crazy year right there. I think that's the phrase that everybody will certainly agree to. Thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you for having me.
Be a lot of fun.
Thank you, Gypsy.
Yeah, when you were here last time, we were getting so much great feedback from your knowledge and what you were sharing that when Gypsy, Gypsy's doing her thing, she's chilling out somewhere. She's like, Paco's coming on. I'm like, yes, cool. So we thank you for coming. This will be a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Be a lot of fun. We have a lot to go over today. News and events going on. A lot of things have been happening since we last saw you all over the last week. We hope everybody had a good week and is staying safe out there. When we last saw you, it was still September. That means it is now October, and we are in the fourth quarter of this year. Thank goodness. People, I think, are very much looking forward to the light of that end of the 2020 tunnel.
Oh, I hope so. What's interesting is if you watch Mad Max, those movies that came back, that all started in 2021.
Oh, well, on the other hand, hello, Meredith. Hey, Gypsy is out there, of course. Hey, don't forget just a couple of things of business there. Send us a live tweet, as you see on the screen, using hashtag Time2Vegas. That is the number 2 in between there. Of course, call us. 702-329-6947 is our number. If you're outside the United States, where we have a lot of viewers and followers who just want to know what's going on in Las Vegas, 1-800-502-4321. Old habits still are tough to break when you have 800 numbers as toll-free. And, of course, our chat rooms are being monitored. Give us a call. Let us know your thoughts on anything. Or if you have a question about anything historically involved about Las Vegas, while we have the walking encyclopedia of Las Vegas here today, join us, join us, and ask your questions. So we want to thank everybody in the chat rooms. Please reshare our link. Go to our YouTube page, go to Facebook, share it. A lot of great stuff on there. And let's get people to realize it's always time to Vegas, right?
It's always time to Vegas.
So what's been going on in your world since we last saw you here on the show a couple of weeks ago?
Oh,
anything exciting?
Art, culture, history, anthropology, archaeology. Been doing tours. First Friday.
Yeah.
First Friday, last Friday, just celebrated its 18th amazing birthday.
Wow. Now, how did that go outside? Did everybody adhere to social distancing, and how was that?
Absolutely. Normally they have a crowd between 8 to 10,000 people, and
Right.
that was pre-COVID. Now it's they have to limit it. 250 people is what they're permitted for, which is an increase from the last month.
Sure.
But
250 people at a time through an hour. How do they count that?
That's the maximum amount of people they can cater to for the event for the whole night.
Oh, for the whole night?
For the whole night. So, but people still show up. You know,
Sure.
First Friday is such a phenomenon now that there's people just show up anyway. And
Right.
so, the restaurants are at 50% capacity. People are socially distancing. The galleries are open. Everyone has a mask on. So people are still coming out, but they're
Good.
being very respectful.
Now, with Governor Sisolak's loosening, which you just kind of alluded to by saying we went from 50 basically to 250 people, and that just includes the attendees. Anybody working there does not get into that count of 250. So with the new restrictions of, let's say they get 8,000 people, right, on average, does that event qualify for the wider restrictions of being able to say, look, I can do 10% of maximum capacity, but we have to file and explain to you what we're going to do to be safety. Does that event kind of qualify for that, or are they stuck at 250 regardless?
That's a really good question. I heard that number constantly, so
Okay.
I'm going to say they have to stick to the 250,
Okay.
and they probably are monitoring it.
Sure.
And I was at the event, and it was very, very subdued. And
Okay.
I don't even think there was 250 people there, at least for the time that I was there, and I
Okay.
spent a couple hours. But people come and go. They meander. There was some artists working on their murals.
Okay.
There was activity, and then when you went to the core, so First Friday got shifted a little bit to the north on Third and Gas.
You were just going to do what I asked you to do for those who don't know where it is.
It was over by the Old Eclipse Theater, which
Okay.
they're transforming into the Art House Theater. So
Okay.
it's very exciting what they're doing over there. So this is the first time that First Friday actually went to the north. So if you passed Gas, you went too far.
If you pass Gas, you went too far. Yeah, that can have multiple meanings around here, but if you went past Gas Street,
Correct.
then you went too far.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
It's a great thing about radio. Sometimes something slips out when you don't even mean to. And it's the
Right.
funniest line possible. But yeah, that's good to know because people come to Vegas, especially the out-of-towners, Californians, whoever drive here. And I hate to put it in light, but with all the craziness that's been going on the Strip over the last number of months, people are going to maybe looking for things away from the Strip to do when they come visit us. So,
Absolutely.
So First Friday is a great event. I've been to it many times as well. And I'm glad to hear that with the increase to 250, it sounds like there's more movement in that. So for those who don't know, our governor came out last, I believe it was Tuesday or Wednesday, with the loosened restrictions, going from 50 to a maximum of 250 attendees. That does not include the crew. So I want to clarify that have to be there. So if it's 50 people somebody has to have to put on an event that's 250 people, then you have 300 people there. Right. That's fine. It's 250 attendees. That's a key word. Now, places like Allegiant Stadium, which people are most interested in at this time of year because of the Raiders, if memory serves, if you have locked-in seating, what's the word I'm looking for? Seating that you can't move. Why am I blanking on the word anyway? You can do, I believe, 10% of capacity, plus you must submit like a form of, your protocols and what you're going to do to keep everybody safe. But then those people have to be like within groups by themselves. So it's kind of restricting, but we'll see what happens for the next Raiders game that may come when they play home here. Not yesterday or this past weekend. He said probably didn't have time to do anything, but we'll see how Allegiant Stadium may react now to get more people in. So,
it's going to be interesting. And if I can make a point on that, Mark Davis said it beautifully a couple of weeks ago. If not all his fans can come in, he's not going to go, and the stadium will remain empty.
Correct. And that's why he said that early on. Now, since we're talking about First Friday, I believe we have a First Friday video that we can show as well. So why don't we put that up as we go? Oh, look at that strong man. Look at that. That's a First Friday tattoo. Is that what that was?
Yeah, it is a First Friday tattoo.
Right on.
And this is The Mushroom by Joshua Levine from Fired Up Management. And then this was an exhibition at Helios. And then there was this is Justin Lepper's art. So one of the murals that was painted over at Eclipse Theater. So it was a great event. Lots of activity. It was nice to see people out. I think that's what people are hungry for, is that they need that human contact.
Absolutely.
Even if it's a little distant.
The other thing of note over the last week, of course, and I'm going to ask you this question. Where were you for October 1st 3 years ago? Do you remember where you were?
Oh, my God. I was sleeping. I actually, it's the weirdest thing in my family. Every time there's a disaster, New Jersey calls.
Go ahead.
And I don't mean to make light of it, but I'm sleeping and I get a text message from my cousin Denise. I'm sorry, not Denise, Teresa. She texts me, and no one in my family texts me at 3 a.m.
Right.
All right. And she texts me, and I'm like, someone died.
No, 3 a.m. our time.
3 a.m. our time.
Okay.
So and I have an older family. My mom's 84. She's the youngest of 11. So
Okay.
you do the math. Right. And I'm like, okay, now I need to prepare myself. And she says, oh, thank God you're okay. And I'm like, what? And so she says, you need to check the computer. I go downstairs, check the computer, and I see what happened. And I'm like, first thing I do is I text my mom. So 30 minutes later, she texts back, and she, what's wrong? I said, I'm coming over. Don't turn on the TV. I get home. She's turned on the TV. So and of course, my mom witnessed 9/11. So
Right.
when she was living in Jersey.
Right. I have a very similar story. I want to give a shout out to Krista. Greetings. We have someone in the Time to Vegas chat that says, greetings from Kentucky. Tremendous bluegrass country. And Richard Dilatore's in there. Good morning to us. Thank you, Richard. Glad you chimed in. My wife and I, if memory serves, that took place, around like 9:30-ish at night, somewhere around there. So it's a Sunday night, I believe, right? It was a Sunday night. My wife is up at 5 a.m. to go to school, go to work. I'm in bed, early as well. So we were in bed. We were asleep like you were before the event happened. So we get up in the morning, and my wife's checking her phone as she's getting ready to jump in the shower. And are you okay? Are you okay? Is everything okay? Where were you? Same thing. And we're like looking at each other like, what happened? Why is everybody checking in? Did something happen? And sure enough, the same thing. We pulled it up. So tragic news. But I will say this, and I know we have a little video, I think, of the Memorial Garden, correct? We'll show that in a second. It's an event that shaped our city. And one thing about our city, Las Vegas gets knocked as it is right now for all the things on the Strip, et cetera. And those people that are doing that on the Strip is not like you and I. The people who live here know and respect this city.
Right.
When an event like 1 October happens, or when those 2 police officers were ambushed at CC's Pizza years before that and all that, this community comes together in support of one another like nobody's business.
That's right.
And one of the reasons the Vegas Golden Knights are in our hearts, because they came to the city and started playing hockey when this city needed something to pull it together. And they did a yeoman's job.
Yeah.
The opening night, they had first responders and people out on the ice who were there and survivors or whatever. Then they retired the jersey. At the time, it was number 58, but now, unfortunately,
60,
2 more lives were lost due to complications from that event, so it's actually 60 now. They helped bring this city together, and I remember the next day, and I'm reading stories of people online at the blood bank at 3 a.m., and I drove by the one on Charleston, the blood services place. They were wrapped around the building, and we're talking October, where it's still kind of warm here like it is now. Mm-hmm. Cases of water were being dropped off. People were just supportive of everybody. It is something that, like you said, 9/11. We all know, also from Jersey. I remember watching the whole thing and grew up right across the street, across the bay from there, the waterway. 1 October. All of these events, like the space shuttle blowing up, people know where they were. 1 October changed the face of this city and continues to bring our city together. We need that now, too, with all that's going on. Right. But to all those families out there, the 1 October event shaped this city, has reshaped the community feeling. With that, why don't you talk about the video that we have, the memorial video?
Memorial Garden. So on First Friday, which was on October 2nd, we went out, in honor of the Memorial Garden. We did a little filming there. You can see the pictures.
And where's the garden again, for those who don't know?
The garden's on Casino Center in Charleston. It's right in the heart of the Arts District. Now, what's amazing about this, 1 October brought together the city in a way that nothing had before, but it also demonstrated to the world that we are a community, that we actually have a community of people living here, and that, we're a proud city, and that we're in our worst moment, we come together. And so this garden was built in 4 days. Right after the event.
Can you rerun the video again, just in case people didn't catch it? We'll just let it rerun
again.
And
what's really cool about the memorial is that it's been respected. So now they spent some money, put a fence around it. They built a better infrastructure, and then they added a new section to the garden. and people have respected it. They go in there. They're very humble. I was there yesterday actually when I took these images, and it was just nice to be, by myself in there, and and also I want to point out when this event happened, I was working for the county, and the county asked me to curate 2 exhibitions for the victims. So one of them was for the first responders. It was a quilt show. So quilts from around the world were donated to the first responders. Over 500 quilts were donated to the county and then distributed accordingly. And then we did an exhibition of portraits that were made by artists from around the world, brought to Las Vegas, sent to Las Vegas, and for the 1-year anniversary. And it was single-handedly the most difficult exhibition I have ever done and will ever do.
I can only imagine. So I was going to ask, when you were at the garden and you said you were just kind of in this peaceful mindset, is that area, you get that the surreal feeling? Was it quiet? Were you able to soak in the energy? Were you able to do that? Because I know where that is, and it's not a quiet intersection per se. Right. But was that area quiet and surreal? And
it was peaceful.
That's the word.
It was amazing. I mean, for me, just seeing the images of the victims, it just brought them all back to me, and I just thank them for the opportunity. So to honor them, and I said a little prayer, and then I get very emotional. So
no, absolutely. Listen, that event, not unlike the Boston Marathon thing, right, that happened maybe a year or two before that, and whatnot. These events happen. Columbine and the shooting at the school, Sandy Hook, right? Sandy Hook, back east as well. Events like this happen. But the one additional thing that struck me, well, 2 things. Number one, the gentleman who came out from the Midwest who built all the crosses on the median. And I believe those crosses are still being either maintained or housed somewhere else.
The county has them, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful opportunity. I remember on the 1-year anniversary, I was doing a show on AM radio. It was a 2-hour show. And on the anniversary, I decided to bring in a panel of people who were somehow either involved at or on the peripheral of that event. And I had, of course, everybody knows who Phineas is, Doc Phineas.
Doc. Yeah,
I had him on the show because he told an interesting story. He was up in Utah, and he was going to be at the event, and his private plane landed, and as he was getting off the plane, and it was 10 minutes late coming in, and as he was walking out of the plane, getting into the car to go over, there's when he heard the bang, and he was in the military, so he knew what was going on. That 10-minute delay for him to get to the airport saved his life.
Yep.
So my first hour of that show, I was talking with the people about, okay, talk to us about leading up to and the events itself. And then now a year later, the second hour of the show I had, let's talk about what life has been like for you since. And it was one of my most proudest moments on the radio to allow those individuals to speak and get the emotion and tell people what was going on. It was very emotional for me to sit there and listen to these, because I hope to never, ever find out what that's like. But to live it and feel that energy of their fear and their concerns, very, very powerful.
Oh, yeah.
So
it changes your life.
Absolutely.
Changes your life.
All right. The music is chiming behind us. That generally is our cue. It's time for us to take our first break of the morning. You are watching Time to Vegas. And no, that is not Gypsy G over there in a Halloween costume. That is Paco A himself joining us back as our special co-host as Gypsy's out and about enjoying some downtime. When we come back, we're going to talk more about what's going on in Vegas, and I want you folks out there to give us a call at 702-329-6947 to ask this man anything about Las Vegas. If he knows the answer, he'll tell you. If he doesn't, he's probably pretty good at making stuff up. I'm Aaron. That's Paco. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Are you looking for someone to provide training to your sales staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality, Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas, and I can blend my talents with any audience. For more information, please visit www.aaronphillipsvoice.com and book me for your next event or training needs.
Four, three, two, one.
Viva Las Vegas, baby. Hey, let's give a shout out to the Las Vegas Aces, the WNBA team. They are down 2-0. If they lose the next game, which I think is tomorrow or Wednesday, then unfortunately the season's over. They're down 2. It's a 5-game series, but let's hope they can pull this off and rip off 3 straight against Seattle, which will be a tall order. But hey, let's see if they can do it. So good luck to those our players out there. We had the league MVP for the 2nd year in a row.
Absolutely.
Aja Wilson. So we appreciate that. So let's give them some love, baby. I'm hoping, and I know it will happen, that the Aviators will be taking the field next season. I know Vegas missed them this year. And whatnot. So let's hope. So, are you a sports fan?
I am now. No, I am now. No, my family's from Argentina. Soccer is ingrained.
Or it's not soccer there.
No, it's football.
Football. Oh, there you go. Thank you. 4 p.m. Vegas time. The Aces take on the Seattle Storm. Game 3. If they lose, go home. If they win, we go to Game 4. So thank you for correcting me on that. I believe it's on ESPN. Aces. So, yeah, they call it foot. Did you play soccer growing up?
I did. I was terrible at it. My dad's watching, but I tried.
Yeah.
It was required for the inheritance.
Oh,
so,
God. As long as there's no scoring requirement, just participation was good.
Participation.
Gotcha.
Participation.
Yeah. I played soccer, as part of our PE classes in college. That one semester was soccer in the fall part, and then it was softball. So I really just signed up because I wanted the softball part. Right. Now, back in that day, I was still in pretty good shape, but I played goaltender because I'll be damned if I was running up and down that the pitch. Right? It's called a pitch,
yeah,
right?
The pitch, yeah.
So,
and it's a big pitch.
Yeah, it is. What's the dimensions? You know what the dimensions are? I know it's bigger than football. I was just going to say, yeah.
It's wider, bigger, and it's interesting because I took my dad in '94 to the World Cup here in the U.S.
Cool.
And some of the stadiums, we went to the Cotton Bowl in Texas,
yeah.
And they really, the soccer pitch went all the way to the very edge of the stands. There was no room for the players. Because the stadiums are not built for soccer.
Correct.
Or at least not international level soccer.
Not traditional soccer.
Yeah.
Not like what I used to play in gym class. So just real briefly, we talked about it. The Raiders, again, they played this past week. Unfortunately, they lost. But you also mentioned Mark Davis. Mark Davis, standing tall, will not set foot into the stadium until fans are back in there to enjoy the facility. I have not been in there. My partner from Twin Brothers, Neil Portnoy, painted a mural, did a mural picture. Yeah. But there's that huge mural that's in the stadium. So there's a lot of us in Vegas that are part of Allegiant Stadium and the Raiders already. Now, truth be told, I'm a Giants fan. Not that there's much to root about for the Giants this season, but me personally, I would love at least one opportunity to go into the stadium, and that would probably only be when my Giants come out to play them. And even then, I have to take out extra life insurance because it's Raider fans are crazy people, good crazy.
Wow.
But sometimes there's some that take it a little too far. I've read stories where people from opposing teams don't end up with the same clothes on their backs that they walked in with.
I love the Death Star. I think it's awesome. I've been rooting
Looks
for
like a hockey puck from above. Come
on. My friend Walt calls it a Roomba. So
a Roomba. There you go. That's another one. That's very good. I like that.
But
That's right. That's right.
I'm glad they're here. I really am.
It'll be good. Listen, it put a lot of people to work to build the stadium for a year and a half or whatever it was. The people, a friend of mine, he's security, works there, gave him an opportunity to get back to work. So the building and functioning of that facility has been very important to us. Now, we'll get the full benefit of it, of course, when everything gets back to normal, right? And they can use the facility as it was designed, and also for UNLV. UNLV is supposed to use it too.
Big deal. It's a big deal. It's a reason why we can't recruit good football players.
Yeah,
we just don't have the facility. But now, and yes, unfortunately, college sports do bring in money.
Oh, and that's why you're right on. You nailed it, Paco, because again, not knowing how. Show me the money. Right, exactly. 5 major conferences in college football, which I'm a Penn State alumni, so the Big Ten was one of them. They all decided, no, we're not going to play for safety. But then all of a sudden, when one of them came back and this one started coming back, and then when the Big Ten and I want to say the Big 12, et cetera, they all cited, now it's the money. For Penn State, listen, people laugh at basketball at Penn State because we don't make the maps. There's no question when you have a 106,000-seat football stadium, show me the money, baby.
Right.
And a lot of colleges are based on the income of football and not having a fall sports schedule, because as important as football is to my school, you have other schools, basketball powers like Duke and Kansas and all those that rely on basketball the same way we rely on football revenue.
Absolutely.
So colleges were looking to be in trouble, not to mention our own UNLV not being able to play their games. Well, now they will.
Yeah.
I believe because the Mountain West Conference finally was one of the last divisions and conferences to come in.
And especially in a brand new stadium that still smells like a new car. It's like, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Get that. I think the shine on that new car will be a while. It'll last a while.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
All right. Let's see what else. 702-329-6947. By the way, Gypsy appreciates your wardrobe today, by the way. So
Thank you.
all right. We have that. Wynn Resorts. Let's talk about Wynn for a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
You looked up what we talked about before the show. So why don't you share what you saw? There's a new show that'll be debuting, I think, within the week over at Wynn.
Lake of Dreams. That great little space between the mountain that they created and the resort itself, where they would have a little water show. They have a new show coming up, and it's no performers except for puppets. So that's interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they pull off over there. I haven't been in the Wynn in a while, and I remember the last time they did a puppet show at the Wynn, which was Avenue Q, which was a long time ago.
Right.
So we'll see what they come up with. We need new shows. It was real positive to read that. So
Yeah, absolutely. And when I put it out there, someone responded saying it's a puppet show, and I replied back very simply saying, guess what? It's still a new show for people to go to, and I think that's important. And obviously with the restrictions now being loosened, that's going to be very important for the entertainment community here, because now those words, ambient music, may go away.
Yeah, that was a little interesting. And that's the thing about the Lake of Dreams, that whole area. I mean, everything that Roger Thomas and the Wynn Resort did, it's quite an
in general, youth sports in particular.
Right.
And I should have brought the list with me. I regret not having it with me, but there was a whole list of sports that he opened back up, a lot of the basics that you would expect, but with restrictions and whatnot. And then there was a whole list of sports, and one that stood out to me was fencing, that is not allowed to start again under regular restrictions, regular rules. I'm thinking, when you have the Epi sword, aren't you already social distancing? You're not touching anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, plus you have the mask on.
Yeah.
And all that equipment. So it looks like you already have a hazmat suit.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's like, fencing of all things.
Yeah, so that was one that was on the not ready for primetime players list yet. So
I don't know. Maybe you thought it was because it's aristocratic or something.
Yeah, could be. Who knows? Who knows why? Fencing. Meredith, yes, thank you. It was crazy, but you can look that up online. Just you can Google Governor Sisolak's new restrictions and guidelines about that. So at least things are opening back up. But again, let's just be smart about it so we don't take any steps backwards, regardless of what your belief is, mask, no mask, blah, 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 blah. Let's just be smart. Just make sure we do things to keep moving forward. And that's what we need to. Because if this city goes backwards in any way, stick a fork in us, because we have nothing to fall back on after entertainment.
And that's the thing. I was looking at historically, even in 1920 or 1918 when we had the last pandemic, we had 2,500 people living in the city. And they restricted things here and there, but nothing like this. I mean, the MGM fire and the Hilton fire 6 months later, 1980, were a setback for the city. 9/11 was a setback. The recession in 1993 was a setback. 2008. But this takes everything combined.
Before we go to our next break, because when we come back, I want to go over the videos you shot downtown in the Arts District. I want to ask you a question. I may have asked you this when you were on as a couple of weeks ago. You're born and raised. Well, I mean, pretty much you're born and raised here.
Yeah.
You're a fabric of this city that has a knowledge. Oh, by the way, before we go to break, I want you to give a pop for your tours as well.
Oh yeah.
Because he does great tours around town. Top 3 things, the biggest changes in Las Vegas that you've seen being a resident, growing up here, however you want to do it. Give me 3 things that has happened here in Vegas, good, bad, or otherwise, that you've noticed about the city over the years.
Well, I mean, the opening of the Mirage in 1988 was huge. 1989, somewhere around there. That was a massive event. City Center, right during the construction crash, that was massive because it was a city-themed resort. They claim it's not a themed resort.
Right.
That really took us to the next pinnacle. And then you saw the, real estate, just people coming into the city. And I'll be honest with you, Golden Knights.
Yeah,
the Golden Knights, that was a game changer, no pun intended. But that they like you said earlier, they were there for us at our darkest hour. That told the world, wait a minute. I mean, now it looks like we're gonna get a MLS, possibly MLB. So, and then of course we started minor league baseball, and we sold out the first season. Unheard of, never happened.
And the stadium was named #1 in all of minor league baseball.
And it's a beautiful stadium.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I got excited for baseball, and I'm not even a baseball fan.
Do you follow the Knights at all?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Did you see them come out with their new alternate jersey last week?
I hate it.
Okay, that's the thing. A lot of people are saying, and for $180, I'm not buying something I hate.
Yeah.
So I think they need to go
back to the drawing board. I wish they would have done a red one. I was hoping that they would emphasize the red because red is the Vegas color.
Yeah.
But,
Yes. Yeah. Well, they didn't ask our opinion. It's their loss.
No.
So, but anyway, if you haven't seen it, check it out online. Go to Golden Vegas Knights. You'll see their alternate jersey. Let's just say, if you like mustard, you'll love the New Jersey. Not the state New Jersey, but you can love New Jersey. We're from there. But anyway, all right. Time to take a break. We got to pay a couple of bills. You're watching Time to Vegas with Mr. Paco and Aaron on the board. Tweet us through Twitter using hashtag. We talked about that before the show too. Time to Vegas using that hashtag. Give us a call. We want to talk with you folks. 702-329-6947. Time to Vegas. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for someone to provide training to your sales staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas, and I can blend my talents with any audience. For more information, please visit www.aaronphillipsvoice.com and book me for your next event or training needs.
Welcome back. Time to Vegas. Paco A, Aaron P, Aaron E, Mama G's in the chat room. We got all the letters. Pat, can I buy a consonant, please? Vowel, something?
Where's Vanna?
Where's Vanna? Yeah, my phone is frozen. I can't see the video anymore, but you guys tell me things are working well. So my phone is my phone video is frozen on Paco's face. That's what I'm looking at. I don't know if you can see this in the camera. I'll put it up on my one shot here. See, that's all I see right now. My video is frozen, and I got Paco. It's like a screensaver. But anyway,
funny.
Okay. So let's get to it. Now you guys did some walkabouts and took some videos, right?
Yes, we did.
Let's talk about that, and then intertwine that with your tours that you do too. Let's talk about that.
So we've been meeting, Gypsy and I, and Liza have been meeting every weekend, and we do our Sunday morning sojourn of the city. We start off with Tule Springs, and now we did. This is the alleyway downtown between Las Vegas Boulevard and 6th Street, the alleyway just south of Fremont Street. And this was transformed. This was a great community project with the City of Las Vegas, the City of Las Vegas Arts Commission, Zappos, Downtown Projects, all the businesses in the area. Huge shout out to John Curran, who also participated in this project. And it's basically they hired a bunch of artists, local artists, to come in and just beautify this alleyway and transform an ugly part of downtown into something quite artistic. And they did a beautiful, beautiful job. All different types of art, highbrow, lowbrow, no brow, you name it. It's here in this alleyway.
No hair, no nothing. Now, do the artists have to get permission or approval to paint what their designs are? How does that work?
don't think so. I think as long as they didn't, do anything, no profanity and stuff like that.
Do they have to get permission from either the building owner or the city, or how does that work?
Yeah, so this was definitely a community-wide partnership, working with all of the business owners, the city. The city maintains the alleyway, and the business owners obviously own the buildings, so they did get permission. And they worked with utility companies as well, including Republic Services, who normally would have a trash truck go through there. Now that's not there anymore. All the trash from those businesses are kept in one central location. And this is happening all over downtown with our alleyways. And they lit it up. It's completely lit up. They put several $1,000s in infrastructure there, so all of this is lit up at night, so it is safe. So go down there, be socially distant, take lots of photos. And it's all very Instagrammable. You can take a really nice selfie with a lot of the backgrounds here, including these really cool planters that they put at the entrances of the alleyway so cars don't drive through there.
Perfect.
So it's
like
very
a little
walkable.
barrier.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
That's good. So who are some of the artists that do this? Do you know who they all are? Or
I know a lot of them. I know that Recycled Propaganda was there. I saw Miguel Hernandez. I know Guerrilla Arts was also involved in their crew of artists. So quite a selection of artists, both artists that are very experienced and those that are just emerging.
So if someone let's say if someone is downtown, they're not within the arts district per se, but they see this kind of stuff. How can they reach out to the group of artists and say, hey, I have a building that I would love to get your ideas to do something with? Or how does that work?
A lot of the artists, all the artists should have at least hashtagged or put their name on there. And you can go on Instagram and find the hashtag and find out who the artist is. And that's one of the easiest ways. There's no QR code per se to actually find the artist. I didn't see anything like that, but just look for the artist signature and then just go on Instagram.
Right on. So how much time does it take from beginning to end for one of those things to be done? Let's say I know the wall versus the mailbox time's going to be different.
Right.
But what's an average time for a mural to be done for these folks?
I work, one of my other companies, I work with artists. Clients hire me and I hire artists to do projects. It could be anywhere between 2 to 6 weeks to complete a project. Shout out to Gear Duran, who's one of the most prolific artists in the community. He just did a full building wrap, and that took him about, a solid 18 days of working every day to get that project done.
And primarily, I guess they work during the day hours, later in the day through
all the
evening?
time.
All the time.
I have another artist, Mario, and sometimes I tell him out there, I said, be careful at midnight out in downtown. He says, I'll be okay, bro. All right, so.
Right on.
I paint as well, and it could take me a month to paint a canvas, and I prefer to paint between 1 and 6 in the morning.
Most quietest time probably around.
The ghosts are out, that's why.
Speaking of ghosts, our next video started without us knowing it, so we may have to reloop this. Can you talk about what we're seeing here?
So this is a lot of the artwork on 6th Street. And those are the new lamps. Actually, the city of Las Vegas, huge shout out to Brad Jerbick, former city attorney, who spearheaded the remake of Fremont Street from Las Vegas Boulevard all the way down to Maryland Parkway. And they were able to do some research, and they found the original light posts that downtown, that Fremont Street had back in the 1930s, 20s and 30s. And so they had them remade.
So they were just laying around somewhere?
Laying around. They had them rehabbed,
restored.
And restored. And they
it's not easy with words, is it?
They found the company that actually manufactured them, and they were able to replace a lot of the parts.
Right on. Was it a local company? Just curious.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
I think it was somewhere place out east. So, and they're beautiful. So it's interesting. They also replaced or restored all the 1960s lamps, the mid-century modern ones too.
Okay.
They put LEDs in them, cleaned them up. They did, and they planted over 100 oak trees. So they're creating the canopy that Fremont Street had in the 30s from all the trees that were planted. So pretty amazing.
Is this the next video? Okay, so obviously we went into the third video. So what are we seeing here?
So we're looking at more of Fremont East, the old Western Hotel, the El Cortez, which is the only casino, operating casino on the National Registry of Historic Places. Thank you, Bugsy Siegel, for that.
My family's related to him, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Very distantly, but
okay.
It's not. Don't tell anybody.
Okay, I should be very careful with you then, because in Vegas, if you're 86,
That's right.
8 miles out, 6 feet under. But yeah, so this is a really cool project. So I was working at the Neon Museum when I was the interim curator of the Neon Museum, when a lot of those signs were actually taken apart, destroyed, and the city came in, was able to locate some of the old signs. And they restored them and put them back up. Now they're beautifully lit, just like they were back in the 50s. And so it's exciting to see that a lot of the historic Fremont Street from that era is coming back thanks to efforts of the city, downtown projects, and the private property owners.
I'm glad you said that, because a lot of this is going on east of Fremont Street entertainment area.
Right, east of the Fremont
The
Street
Boulevard,
experience.
right, exactly. Right. And I say that for this reason, because obviously the original Las Vegas, please correct me if I'm wrong, was Fremont Street.
Correct. That was Main Street, USA.
Yeah,
basically.
that was the place,
that
right?
was the commercial heart of the city.
But now you've got a lot of those original, although the Golden Gate Casino's still there.
Yeah.
Main Street has been there a while. But now you have the Circa coming in. You have a lot of these, the D, even though it took over an existing property, bringing it to a more current, modern time. Does that hurt Fremont Street in any way?
Not at all. And I have to tell you, huge shout out to Derek Stevens. You got to get him on here, because I'll tell you this. Derek is the Ben Goffstein of the 21st century.
Okay.
I mean, he's a larger-than-life guy. He's passionate about downtown. He's passionate about Fremont Street. And what he's creating with Circa right there in the heart of it is just beautiful. It's a beautiful resort. I can see it from my apartment. It's got a nice design. And 21 and over, no kids allowed.
Correct. And dress code is of a higher standard,
Absolutely.
if I read it correctly, right?
He's bringing it classy. I mean, downtown had its moment, had its heyday.
Right.
They were always known as the sawdust joints. You had the carpet joints on the strip. You had sawdust joints downtown.
Park your horse outside.
He's bringing that. He's really up in the game down there. And he also owns the Golden Gate, which is the oldest continuously operating hotel in the city.
Wasn't that the original one on the Fremont?
1906.
Fremont? Right?
1906. Yeah. I mean, and it has an amazing sign, one of the last mechanical classic signs that goes back and forth. It says Golden Gate.
Right.
And rumor has it that it was done that it wiggles like that to represent the 1906 San Francisco earthquake.
Oh, so, there you go. There's a little piece I don't think anybody really knew about.
Little piece. That's the kind of the urban legend.
Right on. Well, I like it. That's how urban legends start. You say something, everybody keep talking about it. Makes sense to me. Do we have any other videos that are part of this? Okay, I just want to make sure that we've shown everything there. I appreciate that. What's that? One picture? What's the picture of? I mean, I tried to look at everything, but I can't remember what I had for breakfast 3 hours ago. So
I had oatmeal.
Oh, I know a picture. That's the wedding chapel picture. So you know what? Let's save the wedding chapel until after break. I know you just popped it up, but that's okay. You can pop it back down, because I think we're just about ready to take one more break. So we want to talk about that. Are you a big fan of Halloween?
I am huge.
Good.
I love Halloween.
Because I shared an article on the Time to Vegas Facebook page about some events that are going on in town for the Halloween. Because Halloween this year is going to be very different. With the COVID stuff. So, all right, we're going to step aside for our last break here on Time to Vegas. I am Aaron. That is Paco. We thank you for joining us. We'll be back in about 60 seconds.
Are you looking for someone to provide training to your sales staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas, and I can blend my talents with any audience. For more information, please visit www.aaronphillipsvoice.com and book me for your next event or training needs.
All right, welcome back to your aerobic version of Time to Vegas. Remember the old HBO movie, the show, with the girls and and it was the anyway.
You need a shake weight.
I have one of those. My wife bought one when those were big, about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I think she used it once or twice, and now I use it as a doorstop in my garage door when I bring in the groceries. So I have one of those. All right. Thank you for watching us. Again, 702-329-6947. So we did have a question come in during the break before we got. I want to talk about Halloween. And then, again, you keep forgetting to... No, stop right now. Talk about your tours.
My tours. Okay, Fabulous Story Tours is I've been doing tours. I remember I worked at the Liberace Museum. This was 20 years ago.
My mom loved
and
that place.
We would get... the British would come in. The British love Liberace.
The British are coming?
My God, Liberace. Oh, my God, he performed 4 times for the Queen. And they would come in. Oh, where can we go see? Oh, Vegas. Oh, Vegas.
Oh.
And so I would send them to Fremont Street. I'm going to go down there. And then they would come back. Oh, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. And so next thing you know, I started doing tours.
Okay.
And then when I worked for the LVCVA, I would do fam tours, media fam tours. So I would take travel writers from around the world, and they would just gobble it up. They loved it. And it wasn't until many, many years later that Tony Hsieh, the former CEO of Zappos, his driver, Steve-O Maroney, big shout out to him, he actually gave me the idea, why don't you start your own tour company and use our buses and stuff like that? I said, I'm done. I'm doing it.
That's right.
And that actually we launched the week of October 1st in 2017. So it was kind of a weird launch. But I've been doing them. I do walking tours of Fremont Street. Because I'm a cultural anthropologist, I can also do archaeology and anthropology tours. And that's where, when I took a gypsy out to Tule Springs, you're talking about 10,000 years of human habitation in the area. So, when people say there's no art and culture in Vegas, no, the people have been living here a long time.
So someone coming to Vegas who may want to book a tour with you, or even if they're in town, how would they reach out to you?
They can reach out through my website, psionicartworks.com.
Spell
Psionic, P-S-I-O-N-I-C-S Artworks.
Perfect.
I think I spelled it right. If not, or Facebook, Fabulous Story Tours.
There you go. Fabulous Vegas Story Tours. Great stuff. Now, the question that came in during the break, and Aaron shared it with us because it came up on his chat, couple of unknown facts. People know basic facts about Vegas and things, information. Give us a couple of things that like the sign at the hotel downtown. I didn't know that the thing shakes to possibly represent. They give us a couple of things people may not know about Vegas.
Well, number one, we were not supposed to be part of Nevada.
Oh, really?
So I don't know. I don't think I brought that up at the last time. No, we were actually, and Octavius Decatur Gas, what a name. Yeah. That's what Gas Peak is named after, and I live on Gas in Las Vegas Boulevard. And I want
you
to
know
tell
what?
You
Sometimes lines happen by. I'm not even going to say anything.
Okay.
They just go. They're just going to go on their own, just like in Blazing Saddles, the flight scene. But anyway.
Yeah. And so.
Oh, come on now.
That's lovely.
Nah.
So there was. So this guy comes in to Vegas more than 130, 40 years ago. And he actually becomes a territorial legislator for Arizona, New Mexico territory.
Okay.
And he's actually Spanish speaker. He's a Spanish translator for the territorial legislature. And in honor of the Paiute people that lived in this area, because he took over the Mormon fort, and he took over what eventually he named the Las Vegas Rancho. He named the county Paiute County.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, well, nobody knows that. In honor of the Paiute people.
Sure.
He also spoke Paiute. I mean, this guy was amazing. He was like a walking convention center. He was the welcome committee.
The original walking encyclopedia.
And his wife was a niece of Ulysses S. Grant. They lived here. This guy's amazing.
Wow. So we have a couple of streets named after him.
We have, Decatur. You have to talk to Mark Hall Patton, who we have to have on the show.
Yes, we have to get him on the show.
Decatur Road is named after somebody else.
Okay, then it's a coincidence.
But Gas Avenue downtown is named after Octavius Decatur Gas. He was from Ohio.
ODG.
So, ODG.
Stop with that. All right, we get the point. What's another topic? What is another piece of information that people may not know? Maybe about the Strip? So you said
there's a good one. So the Guardian Angel Cathedral.
Yes.
Okay, Guardian Angel Cathedral down over by the Strip. Oh, that's funny. Haha. So it was built by the Catholic Archdiocese. It's the head of the Archdiocese, right? But the land was donated by Modalitz, who is Jewish.
Really?
And he thought having a church next to his casinos was a good idea.
Well, I've always believed that casinos are places of worship anyway. How many times you walk through and say, please, God, let me hit this jackpot.
Amen.
There's praying all the time in there, right?
So, Amen.
But that's cool. I mean, Listen, this city's been around. We're going to be celebrating Nevada Day coming up at the end of the month, right?
Nevada.
I know. I can't break it. 24 years. I can't help it. Nevada.
Actually, you
Nevada.
pronounce it correctly.
Nevada.
Because it's Nevada.
Okay.
Because that Nevada in Spanish means snow-covered.
Okay.
And so you are pronouncing it correctly, but because of American colloquialism
Right.
or whatever, we say Nevada.
Right.
And, also our cowboys from Nevada are called buckaroos, which is a version of vaquero.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, when you see a cowboy in Nevada, they're not cowboys. They're buckaroos.
Okay. Now I know where that word derived from because there's a lot of people who use it like, way to go, buckaroo. A lot of TV shows used to use that.
It's like Amarillo, Texas. It's amarillo.
If you say it in the proper...
Right.
Right.
I'm from Amarillo. No, it's amarillo.
Well, East Coast, baby, we say every letter Amarillo. If we stretched out the double L, Amarillo, that's how
Yeah.
East Coasters would say it. Or Frankie Citro would probably say Oh, never mind. Anyway, it'll be a little bluer than that. But okay, good side. Look, we have a lot of history here. So Nevada Day's Nevada.
Nevada.
The end of the month, right? The last day of
Right.
October.
October 31st.
31st.
Can I tell you one more thing about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is interesting. We ended up becoming a state. We were the first time that when they invented Morse code,
Okay.
beep, 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 beep,
Yep.
beep,
Mm-hmm.
they sent our Constitution. They couldn't get to Washington, D.C. in time for the vote.
Really?
So they had to send our Constitution by
Wow.
by wire.
Wow.
And it was like over 4,000 characters. It cost $17,000 to send it because they were charging several dollars per
Sure,
character back
sure.
then.
I can
Yeah.
only imagine what that same thing would cost today
It's
to
like
do.
it's like the internet 25 years ago.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Try downloading something,
It downloads $17,000 to the bank. Who? There you go. That's what it would have sounded like. The old dial-ups.
Yep.
All right. We only, believe it or not, we only have about like 7 minutes left. This show's been flying by, dude.
You've got mail.
Let's talk about Halloween. You're a big fan of Halloween. What
I
do you
love
like to do?
Halloween.
What do you like to do on Halloween?
Oh, Halloween is just one of those holidays that Vegas should own.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is, anyone who flies to Vegas, it doesn't matter if it's Halloween, Christmas, any time of the year, there's always characters on the airplane.
Right.
When I fly back from visiting my family, whether in Miami, New York, New Jersey, any point in between, and I
Right.
fly back into my hometown, I mean, you have Elvis, you have Schmelvis, you have women in impossible gowns, you
Right.
have... If I see feather boa, I've never flown back into Vegas without seeing someone with a feather boa.
Right.
It's like amazing. People love to dress up.
Right. Right.
So it's a natural for us.
Absolutely.
I mean, the LVCVA needs to own Halloween because
Exactly.
we had a Halloween parade, and people love to dress up, and it's
Sure.
freaks. And Vegas is already full of freaks. If you go down on Fremont Street,
I've taken pictures with a few of those people down there.
and some people just don't wear anything.
No, I know.
So
Is Cupid still down there? The guy who used to dress up as Cupid?
I don't know. I haven't
Just
seen
a
him in a
diaper?
while.
Okay, so maybe he's gone.
Yeah, that whole diaper thing is a bit much.
Yeah. How about the devil? The lady who dresses up as a devil? Maybe
There's lots
Missy
of
was her
devils
name.
downtown.
Blonde, petite gal.
I did meet the woman with the largest, most endowed woman.
Okay. Oh.
That was interesting. She was charging a few bucks to take a photo with her.
Okay, most endowed.
Most endowed.
That's politically correctly
And-
stated. Very nicely done.
Yes. And then there's the older gentleman who just has a thong.
Okay, sometimes you just need a sharp object.
But I will tell you this: the last Halloween, which was a year ago, there were. I'll
I've
tell you
done
this: there was a phenomenon of Dia de los Muertos. So Halloween's October 31st,
Right.
which is the Witches' New Year, and then you have Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, which is the next 2 days.
Okay.
And there were so many people dressed as La Catrina, which is the Victorian or
Okay.
Edwardian dressed skeleton, which is Mexican traditional.
Yes.
It was a way of making fun of the Mexican aristocracy.
Gotcha.
And so La Catrina came out, and there were people in the most elaborate costumes I have ever seen. I mean, it was just short of miraculous. And they put a lot of time and effort, and everybody wanted to take pictures with them.
Right on. No, it makes
So-
sense. Well, the reason I bring that up is because, Halloween this year and everywhere is going to be a little different.
Yeah.
So,
No trick-or-treating.
No trick-or-treating. Yeah, exactly. I shared an article on the Time to Vegas Facebook page. There's some ideas courtesy of KDWN.com, some events that are going on around town. So I just want to share a couple of them. Some of them are standard and pretty, everything's got to be done safely. That's the bottom line. So here's a couple basic ones, and then I just saw some titles of ones that there ain't no way in heck I'm going over there. Besides, if I don't really do the scary stuff. If I do, I just want to look at my checking account every day. That scares me enough.
Me too.
So let's start with downtown Summerlin from September 27th to October 31st. So it's already underway. Series of month-long events presented by Spirit Halloween include best Halloween costumes, spooky house, pumpkin scavenger hunts, and a Howl-O-Ween pet costume contest. So that's already started. Let's see. That's a bubble. I don't want to. Fright Ride. Haunted house. Fright Ride. Fright Ride is coming to haunt Las Vegas. Step into the Fright Ride's elusive research lab to be test subjects in a fear diagnosis. Step into the cart and ride through the 75,000 square foot venue. Is open October 1st through the 31st. Operating hours are Wednesday through Sunday at select reserved times in respect. So you got to reserve your time. It is located at 1700 South Industrial Road. Tickets to start at $34.99 for the Fright Ride. Asylum and Hotel Fear Haunted Houses. Those are all over town every year. Again, they have a lot of COVID protocol. So tickets are $20 per person. You must buy them online. This one is located at the Meadows Mall parking lot. Each time visit only allows 4 to 6 people at a time walk through the asylum. So know what you're going to do there. There's another drive-through haunted house experiences out there. Sand Dollar Lounge is out there doing something. So again, just go to the Facebook page of Time to Vegas. You'll see all the locations and information that is pertinent to those things. Normally, my wife and I, where we live is a gated community, so there aren't a whole lot of trick-or-treaters that come around, unfortunately. But if you do go trick-or-treating, please have a parent with you. Be safe. I would say go up to houses of people you know, because you don't know what's going to happen otherwise. So just be safe. I don't want to have to read about any crazy, silly stories that are going to take place. So, hey, listen, the quarter's about to run out of the meter. Would you believe we're at the end of the show already? Already. So I want to tell everybody, next week's show, we will be dark for a live show, but we are going to provide an encore presentation of the show that featured Vinay from the Bronx Wanderers when he was here with us. We're going to replay that one. So you can still check in, and I'll probably be monitoring the chat room, so we may have some live interaction. But so next week, the 13th, but then we will be back live in studio on the 20th with Tema Hammond, the founder and CEO of, not the CEO, but the founder, GoldenNetwork.tv. Talk about her network and some of the shows that are on there, including 2 with which I'm involved with. And the network is available through Roku, the Roku membership services. I know a lot of the smart TVs have the Roku access. That's the free stuff. But if you want to download certain networks, you must purchase the little box and have a membership with Roku. So she'll be here talking about that, as well as some of the history of Hollywood and her. And let's put it this way: her grandfather was a stand-in for Charlie Chaplin. Okay, so that tells you how far back of history we have with her. So, all right, with that, thank you. Any closing comments?
No, thank you again for having me on. A huge shout out to Gypsy out there having a good time, and be safe out there. And it's time to Vegas.
Absolutely, it's always a good time to Vegas. We thank you for making us part of your day here on a Tuesday. We appreciate your following. Remember, go to our Facebook page, like our page so you never miss any information, any articles. Check us out on YouTube. We're up there on YouTube as well. We're all over the place, man. If you have ideas, thoughts, questions, email us. Contact us through the Facebook page as well. Time2Vegas. Remember, that's the number 2 in between the words. With that, I'm Aaron Phillips. For Paco today, Gypsy, we thank you. Enjoy your time off. We'll be back on the 20th with a live show. Oh, what's that? Oh, one picture. Oh, we didn't talk about the wedding chapel. We got so involved in everything else. Yeah. So we're going to reel back the close. Talk about the wedding chapel that just got demolished.
Yeah, we Kirko the Heather. Try saying that 3 times.
No.
The oldest wedding chapel and the first wedding chapel in Las Vegas. The building was built in 1925.
Wow.
And it was just demolished. I talked to the Neon Museum, and they assured me that the sign is actually going to be kept. Okay. And because they're rebuilding the wedding chapel.
Oh, right on.
So
in the middle of all the hysteria and the construction that's going on down there right now.
Well, and there's another wedding chapel down the street
Right.
that just got finished. So that was Bliss Wedding Chapel. So.
Right on. Okay. Sorry that I forgot about that. I'm glad that's why Aaron produces the show over there, to remind us of such things. And there's a bet going around that I will dress as Batman this year. You know what? Been there, done that, but I will probably do it because it's the easiest thing to do. Anyway, as I always like to say at the end of the show, be kind to each other for one very special reason, because you know what? We're all we have sometimes. Have a great week from all of us here at Time to Vegas. Thanks for watching.